When I joined the Indian Police Service, I joined it for the love of it, and Naren is absolutely right. Naren, right? He's absolutely right. If even I would have all the money in the world, I would still go back to policing. He was so right. It still is the situation. So even when I had all the money, when I earned it the right way, doing a United Nations assignment, etc., doing Aapki Kacheri, because all this brought a lot of good money, I reinvested into something which was very close to my heart. But I still live the way, simply the way I used to live in a government bungalow, etc. So he was so beautifully right. It's a very good spirit. I got a beautiful message. That's why it's inspired me, all the three of you, to tell you my eureka.
His main focus is on guiding people on empowered living. His emphatic, long-standing life values has been these three words: inspire or expire. He endeavors to fill this world with forces of goodness. With this intention, every Tuesday he writes a fortifying and motivational article called as Life School Message. And at present, more than 250,000 subscribers derive growth from it every week. He strongly feels anchors should not be broken, chains should be broken. Ethics are anchors. Anything that stops one from living up to his potentials is a chain that one needs to break. He has authored a book called Keep Moving, which he believes has the capacity to break such chains. He is convinced that the youth of this country have the potential to bring India to its deserved pedestal in the world, to empower them with unshakable self-belief and drive of performance. He has founded a social initiative called Keep Moving Movement. This initiative imparts life transforming training for adolescent students and teachers in various languages. This project is conducted by a committed force of more than 200 life school volunteers who are passionate to take our country to its deserved zenith. Let's welcome the man behind the movement, Narendra Goidani.
Happy evening. It's indeed a privilege to share the dais with quite a few stalwarts which have come and gone. And let's see if I can add a little value to the evening. I'll be sharing with you about a few incidents of my life which have changed me and given a direction to my life and hopefully a little meaning to my life. I was in class 10. I was elected as the head boy of the school. While everybody was very excited, I was scared. My school had about 3,000 students, and till that date in my life, I was an introvert, wouldn't speak too much, had only 2 friends, had a jolly good boy image, but deep inside, insecure and a little scared. I went to my principal and told her, "Ma'am, I think there's a mistake. I don't think I have leadership material." And she told me, "What's that changed my life?" She said, "Naren, you don't know yourself yet. You will create an impact in this world." That year went by. I did well in 10th, I did well in 12th, and I was an all-rounder. I used to participate in a lot of sports. I wanted to do commerce and become a chartered accountant. I applied for BCom in St. Xavier's, Calcutta. Got admission on the basis of my character certificate without an entrance test. And that to me and to everybody around me was a huge achievement. Went home. Me with my parents used to stay in the second floor of our building. And I could hear angry voices of my cousins inside who were a little upset with my father saying, "If you can't repay money, why do you take money?" Came to know from my mother that the person to whom we have supplied a lot of goods have defaulted, his ship has sunk, and we are bankrupt. I had gone home to tell them In about 125 years of history of St. Xavier's College, Calcutta, your son is the second boy who's got selected without an admission test. And I just couldn't tell them that I have got selected. Realized I wouldn't be able to study further. Left my studies, went to Chennai searching for a job, and landed a job of about 250 rupees per month with free staying and free boarding. Struggled my way up. Time came when I had enough money. We had repaid all our creditors. I did a training program where T.T. Rangarajan, the founder of Alma Mater, asked a question to his entire audience, and the question was, if you have all the money in the world, what would you like to do? If what you are doing today is what you would do when you have all the money in the world, then you're in the right profession. But if you have all the money in the world and you don't want to do what you're doing today, then you're in the wrong profession. I was into iron and steel. We used to trade in iron and steel. And I was an upcoming star in the industry. Worst cases become cynics. I didn't want to go to anybody asking for money. So I decided I will continue my business, at the same time take up a new profession called training. I came to Pune to train. On one visit to Hyderabad to meet somebody, I was talking to the auto rickshaw driver. To pass time, I asked him a few questions. Questions like, what's your name and how long you have been driving the auto rickshaw? And then I asked him, how much do you earn every day? He said, about 500. I said, that's your turnover. How much do you earn? How much do you take home? He said, about 150. And I said, what is the cost of a auto rickshaw? He said, about 50,000 rupees. So I asked him, is this your own? And he said, no, this is not my own. I take it on rent and every day pay about 150 rupees. I did an immediate calculation and told him 4,500 per month. That's almost 54,000 rupees a year and the cost is 50,000. You should buy your own. He just shrugged his shoulders saying, साहब, ये रोज का 150 समझता है. ये आप जितना बड़ा नंबर बोलते हैं ना वो हमको नहीं समझता. I asked him, how many children? He said, 4. I said, if you don't enough, why did you create 4? He said, I said, will you educate your children? He said, हमारे वालिद ने जितना हमको पढ़ाया उतना हम कोशिश करेंगे, लड़कियों को नहीं पढ़ाएंगे. लड़कों को देखते हैं उनकी किस्मत में जितना है नहीं तो फिर उन लोग भी यही काम करेंगे. And something hit me very hard. I have a son whose name is Neeraj. At that point of time, he was going to school. And besides the expense of the school, we would invest close to 5,000 rupees every month on various activities which we thought will create a much rounded, grounded human being out of him. So he would go to piano classes and there would be some other teachers who would come home, approximately 5,000 every month. And I realized, I'm doing enough for my children. What about those children who are born to parents like the auto rickshaw driver? Somewhere as I was growing up in life, have I forgotten that I owe something back to the society? I reminded myself I had made a promise. I will do something for the society. On my flight back to Pune, kept on thinking what can be done and what should be done. As I scanned different sections of the society, I realized there are enough people who are doing a little for old age people. There are enough who are doing something for the physically challenged. There are enough people who are doing for people of different sections of the society. But there hardly seems to be anybody who's touching one category of people who probably need help more than anybody else. And that section is the teachers. Most teachers in India are women. And in the structure of society that we have, women do double work. While the man goes to work, comes back home, and is relatively relaxed. For the woman who is a teacher, early in the morning, the chores of a home, then to the school, so often taking notebooks back to home to check, so often taking other notes to create question papers or answer sheets, and then going back, cutting vegetables, taking her own children's education, doing all the other household work, and God knows what time she sleeps. And next day morning again, that lady has to get up, come to school, and take care of the children in her classroom. We realized, are teachers thinking their work is a thankless job? What is the kind of emotional pressure and trauma they must be going through? Aren't we expecting too much? Can we do something for them? We decided we will invite the teachers for a program where we'll express our gratitude to them. Because I remembered my teacher telling me, Naren, you don't know what you've got. You will create an impact in this world. That sentence had changed my life. And I wanted the teachers to know that their work, after all, is not a thankless job. All the students who become something in life always carry memories of their teachers in their heart. 14 of us started a movement, went to schools. We were ridiculed. We were made to wait for hours together. We were shunned. We were turned away from the gates. Forget about meeting the principal. Even the peon wouldn't allow us inside because we didn't have any history. We didn't have any data. We didn't have any past records. It was just somebody coming with an invitation saying, ma'am, would you please come? We promise it will change your life. But 14 of us worked very hard. 1,000 teachers did come. And that day, a movement was born. For the last 10 years, every year we have been holding this program for the teachers. And there are some teachers who have been coming every year, wanting to listen to somebody saying, thank you, ma'am, and a few techniques about how to ensure that the children will perform better. Somewhere in the third year, a few principals and a few teachers told us, you're doing a good job of motivating the teachers, but teachers don't have the required skills to mold the children in certain aspects of life. Can you and your team also come up with some system by which the children can be given what they need to face life? We thought about it. A few days later, I read in the newspapers, 2 children from IIM have committed suicide. As I read that in my office, my colleague Rupesh told me, Naren, do you know in day 0, in IIM Ahmedabad, it seems they lock the doors to the terrace. For if a student doesn't get placed on day 0, he thinks he is not good enough. And there have been instances of children jumping from the terrace and committing suicide. IIMs. They're supposed to be the cream, intelligent people from our country. If they don't know how to handle a setback, we can't even call this a failure. But if they don't know how to handle a setback, how will they take this world to its zenith? How will they take India to its place of dignity? How will they face life? How will they deal with life? Who doesn't go through tough times? Everybody goes through tough times. Even the gods whom we worship have gone through tough times. Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, Krishna, Ram, all of them have gone through tough times. If they have gone through tough times, wouldn't we? But the system does not make us ready to go through tough times. We decided to start a movement where we will go to the schools, talk to the children, and tell them, increase your expectations out of yourself. We created a 7-session program. By now, 14 volunteers had grown to almost 200. About 125 fully committed, totally, absolutely involved volunteers, and about 75 of them who were supportive volunteers, who will come on certain days, who will come and attend certain programs. By now, the program for teachers was not enough for 1,000. The demand was too high. And we are now training 3,000 teachers every year. It was a beautiful journey. Today we call it as the Keep Moving movement. The idea is whatever happens in life, we have to keep moving. A girl wanting to be a ballerina, all her life dreaming that she will be a ballerina, stays in a village in Russia. And one day she comes to know that the most accomplished ballerina teacher is coming to their village. She takes her dress, takes her dancing shoes, goes in eagerness to meet the teacher. It was a live performance, scintillating effects. At the end of it, somehow manages to sneak up to the teacher and tells the teacher, all my life I have dreamt to be a ballerina. Would you give me a chance? The teacher by now was about 82 years old. He looked at her and said, okay, come to my room tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with your music and with your shoes and let's see what happens. Dot at 9, she was there. He opened the door. He couldn't even remember her. And then she reminded, last evening I had come to you backstage. You told me, bring music, bring shoes. Can I? I said, yeah, come in. He went and sat in the chair, was having something in a bowl. The girl put the music on. She danced for hardly 2 minutes and the master told, no, you don't have it in you. I don't think you'll ever become a ballerina. Please don't waste my time, leave. Heartbroken. The girl went back home, hid the shoes, hid the dress somewhere in the closet. In a few years' time, got married, settled down, became a grocer's wife. And almost after 10 years, that ballet group again came to her village. Again she went because in the heart the ballerina was always alive. She went to see the performance. The master was still there. She went to meet the master and told, do you remember me? She said, no. He said, do you remember me? This is what happened. She said, yeah, now I have a faint memory. And then she says, one thing has always been eating me. Can you tell me what was wrong in me that you told me I cannot become a ballerina? And the master said, I'm sorry, but I hardly looked at you. I was very busy with my bowl. But the fact that you gave up means that you did not have it in you. The girl, heartbroken, said, that day if you would have told me, no, you can, maybe I could have been. We realize not many people are out there who can stand by us and say, whatever happens in life, don't give up. Whatever happens in life, keep moving. And when this small group of volunteers, about 200 of us, go to schools, talk to children, the effect is electrifying. There are children who have scored 20-25% more than what they have done earlier. In one class, one of my colleagues, Dheeraj, asked a boy, what's your goal? And that boy said, I want to be a don. Flabbergasted, absolutely confused, not knowing what to say, he just asked why. Why don't you want to be educated? He said, in my basti, there are two people who are educated. Both are engineers, but they drive auto rickshaw. And sometimes they earn about 100, 125, 150 rupees per day. All I have to do is go and sit in the party office. They give me 100 rupees every day, free khana. And during political meets, we have 500. And there are times when we have to thoda something. The rate depends on the victim. So he said, why to study? And then he said, if I study, will you guarantee me a job? Okay, I'll study. Will you guarantee me a job? Dheeraj could explain to him why he should still study. He told him, if you never give up, there are enough good people out there in the world who are always wanting good employees. Every time I ask a businessman, is there space in your organization for good people? And every time they say, send me as many good people as possible. Which means if people have the right attitude, there is no shortage of good work for them. This year, we'll be training 1,000 teachers directly in reaching out to children. Our calculation is like this. 1,000 teachers, each one of them takes at least 6 classes, 6 periods every day. which means about 300 children. When we are going directly to the schools and talking to the children, it's a 7-session, 8-session program, but we are not able to interact as much as we would like to because all the volunteers are occupied in life. Some are industrialists, some are businessmen, some are students, some are housewives, some are professionals. But if I can train the teachers on how to train these children, they have daily interaction with these children. On an average, if there are 300 children every teacher interacts with, we should be able to touch about 3 lakh lives. And what's the cost involved? Hardly anything. Less than 1 lakh. Meeting, we have places of friends which is available to us. All we need is good volunteers. And I believe volunteers have the best and the strongest hearts. People who are willing to do work because they believe that they are a part of a great movement. They believe that their work is a great work. There is a corporation school to whom which used to go a few years back. It was such a moment of tears for all of us when the principal came to office and told, last year the average percentage in 10th standard for our school was 28%. And this year, because Keep Moving movement is there, the corporation school, government school has scored 82%. I announced this in the Sunday morning meetings that we have, and almost every eye had tears. And that made us believe every one of us can create an impact. If the desire is there, there is something which is waiting for all of us out there. To conclude my sharing, I need to say a story in Hindi. A washerman had 2 donkeys, 2 gadhe. One gada was constantly beaten, and the other gada was fed properly. The gada which was fed properly, now here starts the Hindi version, उसने दूसरे गधे को बोला, तू इतना मार खाता है, तू यहां से कहीं चला क्यों नहीं जाता? दूसरा गधा बोलता है, उम्मीद पे दुनिया कायम है। तेरी उम्मीद क्या है? बोले, एक दिन ये जो आदमी है ना, इसकी लड़की से मेरी शादी होने वाली है। कैसे? बोले, जब भी वो अपनी बेटी के ऊपर गुस्सा होता है ना, वो बोलता है, मैं इस गधे से तेरी शादी करा दूंगा। We look around and we have enough things to criticize. I agree, India is not an ideal country. There are a lot of places where a lot of things can happen. But if we live like that Gadha, who has empty hope without any action, that one day the farmer will actually get his daughter married to me. Similarly, we wait, somebody else will come and do something to make this world a better place to live in. Not much is going to happen. That's why the theme that all of us follow is either inspire or expire. Either live that kind of a life where you are able to touch a few lives, make this world a better place to live in. A very old saying, no statue has ever been erected for a critic. Yeah, some things were not going great on the stage, sometimes this was not working, but no statue has ever been erected for a critic. Enough statues have been erected for performers. So I think time to stop complaining, time to take this responsibility. Either I'll inspire or... Thank you so much.